Hello everybody and welcome back to the pYanodons playthrough. It's filled with pain and bees. It's your ghostified gamer. It is bee day, folks, and let me tell you, this thing is a nightmare. There is a lot of stuff we're gonna have to pull into here. Now, the good thing is, everything we've been working towards, working on in this series up to now will finally allow us to get this done. There's a lot of things in this build that we wouldn't be able to touch this thing until now, and we need to spin this up because there is the queen bee is why we need to spin this up now, because it's going to take us a long time to get that queen. And the bee build is a pretty good part of our pyscience 2 production. There's at least two things, if not, I think it's two things we need from this bee build that are going to be required for the casein milk. We need casein, and we need venom for that, and we need honey. The honey is the easy part, believe it or not. So let's go through this mess as best I can in as short amount of time as I can. I like to explain this stuff because there's no way a viewer would be able to see all this going on. And I place the machines down, I storyboard this stuff, I look at Helma, or I look at FNEI, I'm looking at recipes, and I'm trying to figure this out. So the first thing though I want to mention is I have a creature chamber. I went over to the my temporary bio lab over here, DNA lab, and I did spin up the archwids. I have 4, and it required coke oven gas. So here it is. I had to bring raw coal over here, which was real simple. All I had to do was go over here and grab some. And then I made the coke oven gas. And again, one of my complaints, I wish they'd fix this crap with the creature chamber, or with the recipe in general, whenever it's dealing with coke oven gas, it doesn't say anything about the temperature. If it doesn't matter, then I don't know. Does it take 250, 100, or 500? I don't know. It just says coke oven gas. And I think I tried 500 and it doesn't work with some of these. I don't know. But if it's just coke oven gas at any temp, then I'm okay with it. But, as we know, the hot air requires the 100, the coke oven gas that's cooler. 100C is not cool, but then there's the 250 and the 500 that we're dealing with now. But anyway, I spun up 4 archwids, and I have them. Now, let's cover that really quick. The archwids require 2 bee DNA samples and 2 archwid codexes. I don't know why they did it this way. It doesn't, I guess they're trying to make it more tougher, because it is a tougher process, this whole thing. But the bee DNA, just one of them, the bee DNA sample requires 5 codexes. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8. Times 5 is 40, plus another 8, for a total of 48 codexes I needed to spin up 4 archwids, which we need for modules to start this process here, at least start it. Now, notice that we get 10 archwid eggs, as well as the archwid MK01. All right, keep that in mind. Let's go through this mess. So the first machine I have set up here is for the empty archwid honeycomb. It's Ola chemicals, the bodospores, and the relasias. Remember that we have archwid bees in the machine, and those bees are going to do this process in this machine. They know their job and they do it. Okay. And that's what thing that threw me off, is like, oh yeah, the modules are what are the animals, in there. You don't need an animal in the recipe block. We need an animal as a module. So we get 5 empty archwid honeycombs with these parts, with these things, the flower, the spores, and the chemicals, Ola chemicals. The Ola chemicals are here, and we need lard, titanium plate, and water, which is regenerated from, the steam output to the water. And we get the Ola chemicals. Real simple, done. And we have to barrel it and then put it in here. And this is the spore one. Real simple. Set it up. It collects the spores. Done. Now, we take that, and this isn't the only use for the Arcwood honeycomb. We have to LTN. I'm going to go over to the Ulrich build, and I'm going to put Ulrichs on the network. LTN is going to be bringing us Ulrichs, and we're going to be, the bees are going to eat the Arcwood bees are going to eat the Ulrichs, and then they're going to make honey, and then we're going to use that honey throughout the process here. And not only that, but the Arcwood honey is an ingredient to our PyScience too. So we're going to need an Arcwood honey build only. And it's not too bad. All we got to do is seed this thing with the, we get the modules, the bees, and we get the Ulrichs on the network. We'll do a separate build for Ulrichs, and we'll train them over or whatever. And then we bring them over and we make honey, and then we train that to our science area, which is cool. Easy peasy. I'm a little concerned here because we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 inputs to this. Now, the good thing is the Paragon. I'm sorry. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. That's not a problem, but we have 2 fluids. So I have to accommodate for the 2 fluids in that one spot. That build's probably going to change a little bit based on what we're doing here. Okay, so Ulrichs are going to be on the network, and we're going to have a separate build. But temporarily, I'm going to pull them off, and then I'll punch down another Ulrich build that doesn't render. It's just offering Ulrichs to the network, just like the cotton guts. This is how we get our blood. We just spin it out with a centrifuge. Done. Now, we're going to train that up, and we're going to barrel it up, too. So we might have to have 2 build. We're going to have to have multiple honey builds. This is going to be quite an interesting couple episodes because we're going to have to do a lot of stuff. Okay, let's move on. All right, next one is this one. Filled comb. Crude oil, flowers, empty comb, and sap. And this gives us a filled comb. Our bees are going to make the comb. They eat the crude oil and the flour and the sap, and they fill it up with whatever it is in there. I don't know what's in there. The comb is here. Now, we have ash, coal dust, sand, tailings dust, and creosote. And all of these items are, I would consider, tertiary or waste products. The tailings dust is something that luckily I found that and we're collecting it. Got 45,000 of it. So we have to make the combs. And that's how we'll get this going here. Okay, next machine. Now we're getting into the weird stuff. We've looked at the Arcwood nest. We need Arcwood honey, so again, we got to barrel it up. Now we got to spin it. We got spin it out of the comb, but we got to barrel it up and put it here. We need to make Vrauk food. We need maggots. We need the empty comb and a Vrauk. Now we need 2 Vrauks for the next process we'll go over because it's a better recipe. It gives us more Arcwoods. Okay, and if you forgot about the Vrauk food, this is what it is. The one thing that annoys me about this is the cellulose. Everything else should be straightforward and easy, but we'll get it done. Okay, now let's move on to this one. Here, before I move on, we need the Vrauk. Okay, so the Vrauk build that we have up north, we're going to train up the Vrauks, and we're going to bring them down in here. And there's 2 things I might have to do. I might have to also train up caged Vrauks. Now, what I'm thinking of doing is bringing the Vrauks to this build here that we're going to do. And it's going to be bot-based, by the way. I'm not belting this crap. No way. Not to spin up the bees, at least. But the other, when we start to chunk this stuff out and get the specific stuff that we need, I'll do belts and stuff, but there might be some botting in this case for whatever reason, as I see fit. So if we bring the Vrauks in, I can cage them on site. Now we need Arcwood eggs. Remember where we got the Arcwood eggs? Remember that? We also need Arcwood honeycombs. Now, this is what I don't understand. Why am I getting a used comb? Why am I not getting an Arcwood honeycomb out? That doesn't make sense. I think that's a bug. I think that that's incorrect. Why are we getting a comb? It has nothing to do with this process. But whatever. So we're getting used combs out. Okay, whatever. But we're going to use the, I don't know. I think that maybe there is some transformation process going on in there, but the combs can be converted into wax later on. So, all right, now let's get to this one. Okay, the Vrauks are coming in here along with biomass and all this other stuff. Red hot coke. Here's where we get the archwids. This is how we spin up the archwids, because the archwid nest has got the maggots, right? And now we're getting 5 to 10 archwids out. We also get a used comb. We need red hot coke. Well, that's here. Red hot coke, 20 coal, 200 steam, and then we get red hot coke. Now, what's cool about this is we get the coke oven gas at 500 degrees. If we want to utilize that, we have to do another. What I'm thinking of doing is I might have to train out the coke oven gas out of here and bring it over to a separate build where we're bringing in the 250 coke oven gas, and then just to seed it. But what this will allow us to do is get hot air, but we need the warm bricks to make the warmer bricks from the coke oven gas at 500. But we need the warmer bricks, which requires the 250. But what's going to happen is we're going to get the 100 degree coke oven gas as a byproduct or as an output from the warm bricks. So what I'm thinking is we'll just vent that crap. We don't really need it. And then we have the bees. Well, we have this process just creating warm air, or the coke oven gas. We need the red hot coke anyway. So it's like a bonus. I look at it, and I don't care about venting the 100. We're getting free hot air. Potentially we're getting free hot air from this. Well, we're getting hot air from this process that we have to run anyway. Is kind of how I look at it. So the 100 coke oven gas, venting that, yeah, whatever. Okay. So that we need the red hot coke for this, and it adds it in there because this recipe is a little more advanced and it requires more stuff. Then we get to the queenie. Now, we can't get a queen unless we have an archwid nest. And we have the archwid honey barrel and the natural gas as well. A 1% shot. Now, this one requires the natural gas as well. So we need natural gas for both these. Okay, now going back to here. We need the eggs. The eggs make the maggots. So we have the caged Vrauk. And the Vrauk, it disappears. We get the cage, but we get the maggots. So the maggots ate the Vrauk. And we're left with the maggots and the used comb. Well, the maggots get used here, and they seed the Vrauk. So we're seeding the Vrauk with maggots, and we have the empty comb in there and all that. So a Vrauk gets consumed in the process of making the maggots, and a Vrauk also gets consumed for the making of the archwids as well. So Vrauks are basically doing two things here. Now, once we get that one queen, we go up to the breeding complex. And the queen can now start to lay eggs. And the hope is that you get your queen back. We got a 99.9% chance to get that queen back. If we lose the queen, we're back to this process here. But chances are we're going to get a lot of eggs. And the eggs require are maggots, and the maggots are potential queens. I think, yeah. We'll have to look at that again. Honey, natural gas, queen, all that good stuff. Oh, and then it requires 7 archwids, the bees themselves, the drones. Okay, no problem. And so the bees we lose. We potentially lose the queen, but, hopefully not. But we get the eggs. Now, let's go back down here, and we'll look at that part here. So the eggs here make more maggots, right? And then, so we need 30? Holy crapes. That's 2 spin-ups of this. So we need 30 eggs. Yeah, so we need 2 spin-ups just to get the process to continue, the cycle to continue. Hopefully we get an overage, and then we start to see a yield, you know. And yeah, so we see how we don't get the Vrock back on there. 10. So this is our arcwood producer, which is for this, and then the nest here as well as here is for our arcwoods and our queen, you know. And then our queen hopefully stays alive long enough to give us a yield here. So that is what this whole process is going to entail. It took me you know, I had to get all these machines laid out and look at all these processes, and then I put my storyboard, you know, I storyboarded it out and all that stuff. Now remember, if we get screwed on our queen and we lose our queen and this process stalls out, we got to go back to this process and get more eggs to kickstart it back up. And hopefully it doesn't happen, but I could foresee that, I think. Now, let's go over this stuff here. While the bees are going, while the queen is doing her work, hopefully, we have a formic acid situation here. Now, this is the second part of getting ourselves away from using Vrauks for formic acid and then repurposing this Vrauk situation for our bees. Okay, and that's what's great about it. Okay, now I have a belt here that I'm going to be pulling the Vrauks out and bringing them to the build, the bee build. I'm not going to do anything with this yet, but this will eventually get pulled out. This rendering. We don't need to render Vrauks anymore. So when we're ready, this comes out. But we still need all this stuff because the formic acid is coming in here and it's interacting with our sodium alginate. So we still need limestone, sap, creamy latex, sodium alginate. Then we need to convert it to formic acid, which makes our latex. And that's what's great about that is it's now a chemical process, which is more repeatable and less of a burden, you know, because those Vrauks are a pain in the butt, especially the food. I just realized I have a little radar there. Now, let's talk about the rubber build, because I brought in the organic solvent. So that is now being done here, being trained in. And what this did is it doubled our rubber output just by adding this in here. Granted, it was a long road to get here. We had to get the blood, the arthropod blood. Oh, by the way, arthropod is a real creature. It's a creature. It's a sea creature. And arthropod means it has the exoskeleton, you know. So it has the hard shell around it, kind of like, you know, a crab or whatever. And they're sea creatures, and it's a real thing, you know. So arthropod. I thought it was a play on the King Arthur, but it is not. I did beef this up. I doubled it. It can handle it, trust me. Yes, we got a lot of arthropod blood now, which is great. But I still am metering it because I don't want it to go crazy. Metering that out. Now, that also brings me to this. Niobium plates looking cleaner now. Look at that. So I'm bringing kerosene in now because I had to, because I ripped up the build that was making the organic solvent from our tar build. And I got to get over here and fix this. I don't know what I pulled up, but I'm venting the coal gas here, which I don't understand how that happened. I pulled all this mess up here, right? And, you know, because it was tar too. And I'm venting the tar and the coal gas. I'm like, wait a minute. Did I pull something up accidentally here? Because now I have it's free running. So what I'm going to do is I got to come over here and pull this out. In fact, I'm going to do that now. Let me get this. I don't know if it's going to stop. If it marked for decon. I don't know if it's going to build up when I do that. But anyway, so I got to get over there and pull that out. But yeah, I was going to pull this up. And that's why I actually was going to start pulling this up. And I realized, I need the syngas for the refined syngas. So that's another side project, which I'll do a refined syngas build. We already have done it, so I'm just going to do it off screen. But anyway, got the organic solvent coming in, and that allowed me to simplify this build, and I'm happy about it. Cool. Is this building up? No. It is not. The tar is coming out of here. Yeah, see, I don't mind venting the tar. What I'm after is this right here. But yeah, in order to simplify this even further, I'd bring just the refined syngas in. And the only reason we need it is for this operation here. So I could, you know, pull a train off of this and bring it in, the refined syngas, and pipe it in over here. And it's all good to go. All right, now let's talk about this. So we need all of this here. So we're going to be working on this. The formamide is needed for PyScience 2, and we have plenty of ammonia processing that we could do. In fact, I've got so much urea, I don't even know what to do with it anymore. And we need the methane or methanol. So I've got this simple methanol build. I'm going to spin up this process with this build here, but there is a better way to get methanol. And I think, no, use craft. This is the one I'm looking at, but, and that one's nuts. I don't like that one. This one here. I like this one because it's wastewater to methanol. This is the one I'm going to use. Or no, this is the one. Yeah, this is the one here. But we get our return on our methanol, so that's why I'm okay with this. But we need this formaldehyde for our good alien sample, which is going to be another rabbit hole we're going to have to go down. And there's our formic acid, which also needs it. And so we're going to be working on this while our bees are spinning up, because I want to get the formic acid, like I said, I want to get independent of the Vraux, and this is how we're going to do it. I think that's all I have to cover on the bees and everything. Oh, and I was going to talk about this too, really quick. It's going to be a tough road to do this. However, I want to get TSM to handle only our waste products. And I want to use LTN for everything, because it's getting a little tough to manage both, you know, having two trains with, you know, a train network with this on it, a train network with that on it. Now, what I'm going to have to do is, these are all of the priorities that we set up here. All this stuff has to come off of LT. Well, oh, and the sciences. I'm going to leave the sciences on TSM. I might as well. Now, what's going to be the tough part about this is not only there's a lot of stuff on here, it's this right here. And in order to find, like, so let's take quartz into consideration. I can go here and search for, I always forget to click that, quartz. And that filters the list down to where we're requesting quartz. Now, if I ping this, I have to go out into map view and find it. Well, I already know where it is. There it is. I have to come here and convert this to an LTN drop-off. And as you can see, I already have an item on TSM, being the wood. So this is where it gets tricky, because now I have to come in here. I have to go to this area and put an LTN stop in and remove the quartz from here. And the way I would do that is you click on the commenter and you take out the quartz signal. Or, well, you go to the lamp first and you remove the two signals there. Then you remove this signal. Don't pull the commenter up because you might screw up your wiring. And in this case here, I'd have to now put wood on LTN. And the potential, the way I'm thinking about it is, for example, let's go to the quartz thing. because that's my example. What I would have to do is have an LTN pickoff, or a train pickoff here. I have to bypass this. And what the problem, though, is if an LTN train comes here, it may want to go through here. So that's why you want to have a separate LTN resource area, you know. So it's kind of like a case-by-case basis, so, you know, whatever makes sense. But the point is that this has to be an LTN pickup, and it has to be on the LTN network through the commutator. Now, what I found was TSM doesn't care if this is an LTN stop. It'll still come here. So I can have this as a TSM provider and, or an LTN provider and a TSM general stop. But the problem is that I need to be able to get in here, and LTN is going to try to get in here. And this is a two-way thing. So that's the issue. So that's why I'm thinking I might have to set up a separate mining op for LTN only. And LTN goes there, you know, because LTN's not going to come here. It doesn't even know this exists. So I'll have to have a separate one. And then I can start to convert to LTN. And I think that's going to be a lot better going forward. Now, when I started this playthrough, I didn't know how to use LTN at all. I had to learn. And now that I know it, I like LTN a lot more for its features. And it's going to get a lot simpler going forward, I think. So that'll be a nice little project for me to keep busy. Okay, so let's get our bees going and get to work. I'm really excited about it, though. It seems like it's going to be kind of fun. I really enjoy the complexity and all that. Oh, and then I have these are all the inputs, by the way. This is what we have to do. Now, some of the stuff I'm going to do on site, like the Bodos and the mushrooms I'm going to do on site as well. The Vrauk food, I might have to do some... I might do a Vrauk build, or Vrauk food build off-site because of the complexity of all this. And none of this is used here. We're not using moss. We're not using the mushrooms. At least I don't think we are. We're not using all that, you know. Flowers. I think the flowers is the only exception. No, there's not even flowers in there. Let me see here. What is it I'm looking for? Yeah, mushroom. Wait, mushroom? Yeah, mushrooms. I don't think it's flowers there. Yeah, no. So we have mushrooms. Yeah, this isn't even flowers. Now, I have everything on the network except the mushrooms. That's why I'm like, eh. I don't want to train mushrooms around. There really isn't. I haven't seen a big, huge demand for them, and it's easy to set up on site. So I think I'm going to do the Vrauk build separately. But let's get what I want to do is get the queen spun up, and it's going to take a while. All right, get ready for a long speed up video. Here we go. we have kind of bees. All right, this episode's getting a little long, but there they are. They're doing their work. That's kind of cool. They're little flying bees. They're big. These are big bees. Anyway, wow, that's a lot. So I decided to bring the flowers here, and I got them on a passive provider, spun them up, let them run while I was doing this other stuff. Then I got the sap extractors here. It's overkill, but who knows? I don't know how long I'm going to have this here. Then we got the Bodos stuff here. So this is just stuff that will, you know, doesn't need anything. It's just providing. And then I decided to put the blood extractor here. And then we're barreling the blood here. So as soon as we get, or the honey, the Arcwood honey. Now, I can build, if I want to expand any of this stuff, like, for example, the oligarch stuff, or the, whatever this fluid is, I can go up this way. Same thing with the, oh, and you know what I just realized? Empty comb? It didn't click until I started setting this up. Over here. Here it is. These are used combs. So we have to process those into wax, I think. And I just realized it. So the combs are a consistent consumer. We have to go used comb. And here's a filled, then there's the used. Oh, here, let's go here. Yeah, hot air, and we make wax out of it. And then the wax, this is what kind of confused me. Now, oh, so we use, see, look at this. Now we use a casting unit to make the Arcwood honey. So, oh, wow. So I'll have to do that. It's in a pressure furnace. I have to bring hot air in here now. And then yeah, that is so cool, though. I think that's kind of neat. So I'll have to do that process. But I'll do that. I'll do that off screen. Now, right here is where the combs are. And yeah, it's basically a recycling of these. But there might be some loss there. We'd have to look and see because usage. We get 50 wax. And that, oh, look at that. So it's 5, so it's 10 per. But let's say 5 wax, 50 wax. So we need 100. We need 10 used combs to make 8. So 10 to 8. And this one is 7. Ah, okay. Yeah, 10, we need 10 of these to make 8, which is 1 over. But this is 70, like, let's say it's 70 wax. We need 10 of these to make 8. So there's a loss. Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's a loss there. Anyway. Oh, so what I'm doing here, what I have to do is babysit this for a while. Because I got to build these up a little bit. Yeah, I got 10. Okay. I got to babysit. This has to run. Then I have to run this. So I have to move the modules over. In fact, we can move one now. There we go. Now, it's very slow. But I have to, I don't want to go to the DNA lab and spin more of these up. I mean, it's not that difficult. But I'm just going to babysit it for a while. And then when next episode, when I get to this point, I'll kick an episode on. And we'll hopefully see a queen in the next episode. Oh, and then also, the reason this episode's running so long is I decided to do this instead. Because I wanted to get that formic acid. So this is our methanol. I limited it to 10K. We don't need it right now, and this is not the recipe that I'm going to use. This is just to get this going because we need it just to seed this with methanol. And so we got the ammonia and the carbon dioxide, and then the methanol recycler. These, I said, I had it in the episode. This machine is an abomination because if they had the inputs and outputs on the same sides, they're all over the place. So it's like, come on, man. You know, like off to the side like this, and off to the side and over here. So I do the best I can to get this thing to work. It's just a pain. And then there's our formaldehyde. I decided to let that run because I have so much ammonia lying around, or the urea. Well, all the urea has been purged now into this canister, basically. So I let that run, and now we have formic acid, and I let that run too, because sulfuric acid is pretty much a waste product, you know, kind of thing. And there is our formamide. Now, we do need the formamide later on for other things. And what I did up here, finally, the aug rendering is gone. I did that in between cuts, in between speed-up cuts. And I brought in the formic acid right here. And I limited it to a certain amount. I didn't want to bring too much in. 7,000 with a 5,000. It's a two, you know, when it hits... When there's 2,000, I think it's, yeah, when there's 2,000 in this tank, it'll bring the train over. And now I should be able to get better latex from this, but the plan is to strip this out and redo it correctly, because I don't really want, you know, this rail. Well, I could redo this rail. In fact, I think I will. I'm going to pull this rail up this way, put the Vraux over on this side, and, oh, you know what? That might be a tricky one there. I might be able to do a, well, yeah, see, this thing's got to be redone. It's too tight to the rail. I can't put trains in, you know. All right, so that's it. Oh, and then the Ulrichs, I did, oh yeah, I forgot. I gotta hurry because we're running tight on time. Here we go. I decided to put the Ulrich build here. Real simple. There they are. They are looking to escape. Little Ulrichs. They're cute. So this is the same build we did before, and I did reconfigure this a little better, the mushrooms. But yeah, it's the Ulrich build minus the rendering, which is good times. I just put it in here. In the future, I definitely want to get better organization on my rail. I'm not happy with how things are because I'm, you know, trying to learn the mod while I'm trying to also reconfigure my brain for using LTN and stuff. So I'm not too happy with the rail. It's kind of not, you know, very OCD friendly, as they say. But I'll work on that. You know, it's just it's a tough mod. I gotta start somewhere, right? Okay. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the bee spin up. Look at that. We have bees. And I'll keep moving this stuff down until we get to the queen, and then we'll key that up hopefully next episode. All right. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out.